A cluster refers to a collection of data points aggregated together because of certain similarities. We will define a target number k, which refers to the number of centroids that will be needed in the dataset. A centroid is the imaginary or real location representing the center of the cluster. Every data point is allocated to each of the clusters through reducing the in-cluster sum of squares. In other words, k-means algorithm identifies k number of centroids and then allocates every data point to the nearest cluster while keeping the centroids as small as possible. The means in the k-means is referred to the average of the data, which is after finding the centroid.
Next, I will explain on how k-mean clustering works. First, select the number k to decide the number of clusters. In this animation, the pink circle is the data and the blue, green and turquoise circle is the chosen k. Then, calculate the Euclidean distance formula and assign the data points to the nearest centroid. So, it will create the k cluster. Next, find the original centroid in each group and repeat the steps till each of the data point assigned to a cluster. So the last step is move the centroid to the center of the cluster. K-means clustering tries to minimize distances within the cluster and maximize the distance between different clusters. K-mean clustering helps in the security domain. Clustering of data can provide insight into categories of alerts and mean time to repair and help in failure prediction.
The advantages of k-means are it can scale to large data sets, it can easily adapt to new examples, it can generalize to clusters of different shapes and size, it is relatively simple to implement, and lastly, it can warm start the positions of centroids. The disadvantages of k-means are we need to choose k manually, it is being dependent on initial values, it is scaling with number of dimensions, it clustering outliers, and lastly, it clustering data of varying size and density.
Hello everyone, I am Wanfu. So now I will demonstrate the k-means clustering. As you can see, here have a box, then a lot of black points, a red central point, a blue center point, and a purple central point. So we can imagine that the box is our table. Then on our table we have a lot of homework such as assignment, quiz, and tests. All this looks messy and we do not know that each work is an assignment, a quiz or a test. So now we can apply the k-means clustering concept on this case. So the red point represent as assignment, blue point represent as quiz, and purple point represent as test. Then all the homework will be arranged into their category. In the first iteration, we will calculate the distance of all black points to the color points. Then we will choose the shortest distance and color them. So we will also recalculate the position of the central point. So let's try the first iteration. Then so you can see that so all black points become color points to their category. Okay, so next, in the second iteration, we will repeat the step of the first iteration. We will recalculate the distance of all the black points to the three color points and choose the shortest distance and recolor them. So we will, so we try. And so the position change. So we will do the iteration until the data position becomes 0. So we try. So the position becomes 0, so the iteration is 7. So this is the final iteration. We can also do another pattern like the words UTM. So we do. So we start the iteration until the data position becomes 0. So this is the final iteration. So that's all for me. Thank you.